Every morning, Viktor Burenkov takes a 2-mile jog in the nearby park. It's a dangerous race across slippery ice, but for 26-year-old Viktor, his entire life is a struggle.
For anyone living under capitalism, medicine can be quite an expensive endeavor, so it's recommended to look after your health.
In his Moscow apartment, pictures of Vladimir Lenin sit side by side with ideological writings. Viktor is a communist, so die-hard that he cut ties with his family after they moved to what he calls the capitalism-subjugated Britain.
I see myself as a soldier in the revolutionary struggle, and I have to do what's necessary for the victory, for bringing the working class to power.
A British-educated mathematician, Viktor and his friends are doing everything they can to spread the communist message. The ideology may be old, but the means to advocate it are quite modern.
The communist campaigning should keep in step with time. There is internet, there are such things like LiveJournal, and we should be using these tools more actively.
While young communists are surfing the web in search of new recruits, their older comrades prefer more traditional forms of agitation.
Today we're witnessing a new drama. Russia, Europe's largest country, is being destroyed and taken away. The United States and NATO are following in the footsteps of Nazi Germany.
Gennady Zyuganov is a veteran of 3 presidential campaigns. At the last elections, he got less than 18% of the vote, his lowest showing in decades, which led some analysts to conclude that the communist idea in Russia is growing weak, like its largely elderly electorate.
It was the sign of complete defeat, because in the country where social justice is one of the most important values, political and social, to receive so little votes of supporters is disastrous.
Communists may be losing at the polls, yet nostalgia about the time when they were in power is strong. From souvenir shelves to restaurant decor to the country's old new anthem, the Soviet past is no longer a source of shame. In fact, the majority of Russians now regret the collapse of the Soviet Union. So why then don't they vote for the communists?
Communist Party of Zyuganov doesn't propose to the people the project of the future. It cultivates only the nostalgia.
But some suggest communism can never work in Russia nor in any other country. Viktor Yerofeyev is a prominent writer acclaimed for his deep understanding of human nature. He says it's this human nature that gets in the way of the communist ideals.
Human nature and communist ideals are simply incompatible, because people are never equal. They have different abilities. One is born clever, while the other is stupid. One is quick and the other is slow. This is why communist ideals, no matter how appealing they are, cannot be put into practice.
Gennady climbs the ladder to clean the Kremlin stars. Installed in the 1930s, they became the ultimate symbol of communist Russia. Keeping them bright and shiny is a very demanding job. Gennady says by the time he's done, his arms ache. But blowing the dust away from the ideology these stars symbolize is far more difficult, if possible at all. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, some people called for the removal of the red stars from the Kremlin towers, saying they were the reminders of the Soviet past that back then many wanted to forget. Well, since then, Russians have become more tolerant over their history, yet the more the country is coming to terms with its past, the fewer people want communism to define their future. Oksana Boyko, Russia Today.